All right, guys, I would like to welcome you to the February Texas Tri-County Chamber of Commerce Luncheon, sponsored by the Silvas Group. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Mark Roberts from Shirts Auto Service. He has agreed to do the pledge and the prayer for us.
You just said prayer, you didn't say pledge. Okay, well, I pledge allegiance. Oh, we might as well, everybody stand, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, just thank you for this day. Just thank you for this time we get to gather and just mingle and with one another and talk about business, talk about development, just talk about our lives and what's going on, Father. Father, I just pray that as we have these meetings and we come and meet, that we would each grow as individuals, we would grow as business people, and that we would just look at ourselves and just pray that we would just be a person of empathy, a person of compassion, and that our hearts would be hearts that just want to serve one another, whatever their affiliations are, whatever their beliefs are, Father, that we would just be serving one another. Father, these are difficult times, and we see some improvements on the horizon, and I just pray that we would learn from one another, and that our businesses, our endeavors would just continue to improve, Father. Father, I thank you for just being able to live in one of the greatest countries in the world, Father, and to have the freedoms that we have. And we just thank you for our military who protects us on our fronts and fronts abroad each and every day, Father. Father, thank you for the food that's being prepared. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. Just thank you for just allowing us to be here again. For these things, I praise your son's name. Amen.
Thank you, Mark. You may be seated. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was last year, I asked him way in advance if he would do the prayer, and he came with an iPad and he just kept scrolling and scrolling. So this time I said, hey, you gotta keep it short. I'm very impressed with you. Thank you, Mark. Texas Tri-County Chamber mission is cultivating business alliances in the Tri-County region. And now check this out. We got an upgrade on our cell phone. I don't know if any of you noticed, but we used to have like an iPhone, the original iPhone up there. So I upgraded us. If you are not in our texting system, you can text TRICO to 40691.
Still has a home button.
Well,
It's not that upgrade.
that was the best thing to do. Hey, that's an upgrade for us though. And I know you guys have been seeing it because we see the numbers going up, but just be sure if you're not following us, we are in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. We have a website. They're doing amazing things right now. We're live on Facebook. And I know that you're going to go through this right now in person, but when you go back to your offices, go back and check out the live video because our new board member, Carla Rodriguez, has put a lot of effort into this and added a lot of cool graphics. So we appreciate everything that he's doing. We also have Izzy here, so we appreciate you. Go on our YouTube and you can see all the videos from all of the events that we've been doing. And a lot of you have stepped up for this. Some of you guys are really competitive and I'm super proud. Right now the top 3 leaders for the Texas Tri-County Member Challenge is Kate Silvas, Carla Rodriguez, and Eric Anderson. Kate and Carlo, y'all are pulling ahead from Eric because he's not here today, so that's awesome. In case you weren't aware, we're doing a member challenge. You get points for engaging with us. So get involved, and we are doing some cash rewards every quarter, $250. So also, if you'd like to sponsor one of the quarters, we'll give you a shout out every time we talk about it and on social media. So let me know if you're interested in that. Just as a reminder, we are still doing Toastmasters. It is every Monday, 5:30 to 7 via Zoom. They're doing a great job. I am going to start coming again. Promise, I say that every time. I really mean it. But then I would like to introduce our chair who is doing some amazing things for us, and one of the things that he and our committee has talking about. So I'm going to invite Shane Carponsole to come up and just give you a little bit more information about what we are doing.
Thank you, Mandy. For those of you who work in the medical field, either directly or indirectly, one aspect of the pandemic is that everybody has a focus on our leaders in the medical community. And that's very good, because for years, I think these people needed to be listened to more. However, on the business side of things, I can also tell you that this is one industry that, as you might imagine, is booming. There's a lot of money in there. And that is also one of the reasons why we decided to make the State of Medicine the first edition of our series that we want to become really a signature event, the State of Tri-County, the first edition being the State of Medicine. We want this first event really to set the bar very high, and we have very interesting panelists scheduled. Dr. Callum, Pauline Pickett, Direct Med Clinic, Dr. Mochigemba, and we are really looking for everyone to attend, so please pre-register as there's limitations in attendance. There will be a live stream, there will be an event app, there's very interesting sponsorships available that will give you a wide reach. So please help everyone to promote that event. It's March 23rd, so we have a lot of time. Together as a community, as this chamber, we can really, really make this a very successful event. There was one other thing, oh yeah, on the website under events, we now have a calendar. It's a feature that was often requested, so instead of only the list, you will also see a calendar that lets you plan in an easier way. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. You're so quiet today. Did you guys have the same long weekend that I did? Next, without further ado, Miss Kate Silvas joined us recently as a chamber member, and she's just hit the ground running. She's #1 in the member challenge, and she's sponsoring this luncheon. So I'd like to introduce Miss Kate Silvas.
I like to talk, and it's kind of hard to hear and project from behind a mask. So if you don't mind, I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Mindy, and thank you all for the honor of being here today. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this for the last several weeks, kind of looking ahead and saying, what is it? What is the message, or what is it that's driving you all to this conversation today? So I want to hit the ground running, and if we could just, do we have a full, how do we advance this slide? This one right here? No. All right. So, who is the Silvas Group? We are brand new, okay? We were founded in October of 2020, and I'm very excited because I have the experience necessary to get you what you need, when you need it, how you need it. And so our background is in strategic planning, business development, advocacy, fundraising, and also communications and site selection. And this is my website, this is my email, phone number, and this is about creating your business plan. In front of you, there's a little card that I prepared for you that gives you an opportunity to take notes, and on the back side, kind of talk you through our presentation today. So feel free to make notes on the back, take it with you, call me. I'm more than happy to be of service to you. So creating your business plan. A little bit about me. I'm the principal of the Silvas Group, and my background is 25 years of proven success in economic development. I helped businesses succeed. I was chosen one of 10 recruited to work on the Kelly Air Force Base redevelopment, bringing 15,000 jobs to the San Antonio area. I also have a background having worked on the largest job creation project in the state of Texas, which was Caterpillar engine test assembly. I was one of 2 people on that recruitment team. And I also worked, that brought $180 million of investment. So these are some of the projects that I had the privilege of working on. And I also worked for the Converse EDC for 8 years. That brought me to this area, and I helped bring $100 million of investment, as well as $32 million of commercial investment during that time. So this is me. This is my son and my husband. First of all, I'm a wife and a mom. I love soccer. My mask is all about Defend 210. We are season ticket members at San Antonio FC, and you'll find me there when they open again. I'm also an elected official, so I wear many hats, but hopefully not too ambitious. And also, this is a picture of me when I was marketing Converse. Really, the focus is on helping our businesses succeed. And so, if you're not in your brand and believing in your brand, what is it that you're going to accomplish? All right, so let's get down to business. Why do I need a business plan? Why do you need a business plan? What is in it for you? I don't know if you can see this. Everything is under control. Sound familiar? Do you relate to this slide? Oh, sure, I've got everything under control, except it isn't. So here's the reality. These are 3 sets of numbers I want you to commit to memory. 1 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 9 out of 10. Everyone got that? 1 out of 3. New businesses fail within the first few months. 1 out of 3, that's 30%. 3 out of 4. Startups close within the first 5 years. 9 out of 10, or 90%, of companies operating today, emerging businesses, will eventually fail or just give up trying. It's a tough world out there. It is a dog-eat-dog business, as we all know. If you're not in front of or have visibility or or pushing your brand, it's easy to get missed. So, what's the difference between success and failure? None of us went into business to fail. I didn't. I don't think any of you did either. And so, what is the difference between success and failure? Here are 3 little words, 3 little letters, T-N-E. Anyone know what that means? T-N-E? Trial and error. There's a lot of us that have experience in this field. Trial and error, figuring out, oh, that was a bad mistake, let me not do that again. Versus ROI. Anyone know what that means? Return on investment. Everyone knows that one, for sure. Return on investment is, how can I use this money to the best of my ability to return the greatest return to my bottom line? So, trial and error or return on investment. How do you get there? Okay, so a goal without a plan is just a wish. If you don't have a plan, how do you know you're going to be there when you get there? Or are you going to be there? Here's a quote from James Rouse, who was an American businessman from last century. He said, "Profit is not the legitimate purpose of business." He said, "The legitimate purpose of business is to provide a product or service that people need and do it so well that it's profitable." A lot of you wrote or shaking your head. College student, I thought I was going to be a reporter. Actually, that was my first career goal, was to become a reporter for a newspaper. And in the process of discovering my path, one of the classes, or many of the classes that we went through, talked about the 5 W's and H: who, what, where, when, why, how much, and of course where. So, your business plan should be able to kind of answer all of these questions, but they're kind of all over the map, right? Unless you have a plan. A strategic business plan delivers to you your strategic direction of your organization. What is your plan? What is it that you want to be? Your mission, what problem are you solving? What problem is it that your business uniquely answers? How do you uniquely answer the gap that exists? Your mission is what problem do you solve and for whom? Who has this problem and how do I solve it? Your vision is what do you want to be and by when? There's this funny joke, and I'll tell it to you. An accountant, a mathematician, and an economist walk into an interview. They apply for the same job. And the interviewer takes the accountant in and says, "What's 2 + 2?" And the accountant says, "Well, 4." "Okay, thank you very much." The next up was the mathematician. Interviewer says, "Well, what's 2 + 2?" Mathematician says, "Well, 4." He said, "Okay, fine, thank you." And then he asks that question of the economist. And the economist comes in and he says, "What's 2 + 2?" And the economist looks at him, looks back and forth, and gets up and locks the door, pulls the shade, sits down. He says, "What do you want it to be?" The answer is, what is it? What do you, your business, what do you want it to be? That's strategic direction. How do you answer that question? And by when? How do you think when it is that you're going to accomplish that? What resources do you need to get there? That's a business plan. A business plan will answer these questions solidly. And finally, how do you plan to accomplish this vision? Okay? So basically, this didn't turn out very well. But yeah, it doesn't look good. Sorry about that. I'm gonna go back. This is disappointing, I'm so sorry. But your business plan, it should look a lot prettier than this. Who is your customers? I'm gonna go back 2 slides, okay. So, in a business, there are 3 Ps. People, process, and product. Or people, product, and process. People is the who, your customers, your investors, you, your team, your talent. Who is the answer? That is part of the answering of the need, which is the why. Why do you exist? What purpose, what problem are you seeking to resolve? So the why is generally the first thing that you need to address is, why do I exist? And who do I exist for? And then, what is my solution? My problem solved. Who, what, why? And then, of course, there's how. How much, where, and when. What are the touchstones to get us there? So, a business plan is who, what, the how, and the problem is the why. And then, of course, there's a little circle over to the side. A business generates, generally, a profit. So, what is their problem? Your customers have a problem. Or you recognize that you have customers that have a problem, or maybe there are some people that need, say, daycare services. Okay? How, who, and what, and when, and where, and how much goes into solving that problem. It's not about you. It's about the people you serve. And I put this in here, and I want to spool up this video to remind you, a business plan answers questions in a very orderly manner. If you're not planning your business the right way, whether you're a nonprofit, whether you're a municipality, whether you're a business, for profit, whatever it is, regardless of what you're trying to do, you're going to bear with for just a minute. Everyone's heard this before. Mindy, can you help me out? sorry. Bear with for just a second. Busy. All right, so here we go. Let's see if it comes. Should be. The questions that I've outlined for you, then this is what it looks like. You all heard who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third. That whole routine, if your business isn't answering those questions, doesn't have a strategic business plan, the talent, the team, the tools, all of that is necessary for your business to succeed. So, this worked before. Okay, well, all that is to say is the Silvas Group is created to help you, not me. I'm here for you. And each of you have a who that you're serving, whether it's your customers, your clients, the citizens, you know, the investors, the stakeholders. All of these people are depending on you and your answer and whether or not you can answer that need. So all together, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. And I do want to share with this fun video of Abbott and Costello to round out my presentation. Without a business plan, without a coherent strategic business plan, your business will not succeed. And so I encourage you, please, consider your opportunity to strategically plan your business, because that's where we go from there. If you'll go back to the next slide. So, what is their problem? It's not about you, it's about the people you serve. We've all seen Abbott and Costello. We know this skit. We know it like the back of our hand. If your business isn't answering the question, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know, is on third, I don't know. What is the answer? Here's the bottom line. Remember, it isn't about you. It isn't. It's about them. It's about them. Who is them? Who is it that you serve? It's about them. Always make it about them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Sorry about that, guys. Go back and watch that video. I'm sure it's really entertaining, and it'll all put everything back together. Apologize for the technical difficulties. And as he said, if he wasn't under such pressure, he probably could have made it happen. Never a dull moment, though, right? All right, thank you again, Kate, for your sponsorship and for the information. It was very valuable, I do believe. If anybody is needing Kate's help with the Silvas Group, her contact information is on those cards in front of you, and I have it as well. And next up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now I have the pleasure of introducing one of our city partners, Universal City's own Michael Casada. He's going to give us a presentation on the Aviation District Master Plan going on in Universal City. So please welcome Michael Casada. Hey, did you hear that, Scott? They must drink him too. They whistled at him.
I know. It was me whistling. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. We're excited to be able to present to you the Aviation District Master Plan. And again, I'm Michael Casada, Development Services Director for Universal City. So, the city about, a year and a half ago now, we did engage AECOM, which is an international, national planning and engineering firm, to conduct the study for us and put together the Aviation District Master Plan. And so for those of you who are familiar with Universal City, which I think most of you are, The study area is on the south side of town, directly across from Randolph Air Force Base. And as you can see, Pat Booker, does this have a pointer? Oh, it does, okay. Is that, nope, sorry.
Bring the whole thing in.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so for most of you, if you're familiar, this is FM 78, and this is Pat Booker Road, which is the main corridor going through our city. And it goes about 6 blocks from FM 78 all the way up to that turn, basically where the new 7-Eleven was constructed. And then about 2 to 3 blocks on each side of Pat Booker Road. So that's the study area. And so what AECOM did first was they performed stakeholder interviews, and they interviewed about 25 folks, including property owners, business owners, residents, and members of JBSA. And what we learned from those stakeholder interviews were 4 main takeaways. The first one was there was a need for public gathering places, a centered public gathering place, as well as amenities for seniors. The second item was there was a lack of definitive signage, branding, or streetscaping elements that would help folks identify or know that they're in a particular or a unique part of town. Because this area of town looks, along Pat Booker Road, looks just like any other part of our town along Pat Booker. And the third thing, which we learned, is that there's a lack of diverse restaurants. So what we repeatedly heard is that too many Mexican restaurants, can we get some diversity, please? And then the last item, which is really the most important one, and it's not just unique to Universal City or the San Antonio area, but really it's a nationwide issue, and that's age in place. And so what we discovered is that folks who are nearing retirement, they're empty nesters, they would like to stay in their community, and they'd like to downsize and have some amenities provided for them, but they can't find that housing product of that type within Universal City. So they end up either having to keep the large house or oversized house for their needs at that point in their life, or they have to relocate to another part of the country or the regional area. So after AECOM conducted the stakeholder interviews, the next step was to perform some feasibility studies, and those included a market analysis, a land use analysis, and a limited access and mobility analysis. And based on that study, as well as the stakeholder interviews, they were able to identify a baseline set of information to work from, and that identified the existing conditions. And I'll just highlight some of the existing conditions that we found very interesting. So in the study area itself, there are 130 parcels. About 65% of the buildings on those parcels were built before 1968, so there's an older, not only housing stock, but commercial stock as well. And there's only been 2 structures in the study area that were built since 2006, so it's been quite a while. Of the 130 parcels, there's 98 landowners, but 73% of those landowners are individuals, so it's not corporations, it's not LLCs, they're individuals that are generally within the local area. On the positive side, we do have a good, strong street grid foundation to build from. So something that's you likely find in older cities, that street grid has good, unique sized blocks that will allow us to build upon. So it's a good infrastructure to start with. Let's see, so what we discovered is that study area homes appreciated, but they're still below the city average. And so, again, with regard to the housing stock in the study area, 50% of those homes were built before 1978. So again, that just reiterates that it is an older housing stock. And so there could be some revitalization, some teardowns, and redevelopment that would likely occur. Home prices in the city, the median is about $160,000. The study area homes were about $15,000 to $90,000 below the citywide average. However, good news is that since 2010, non-renovated homes have seen an average increase from about $80,000 to $115,000. And then there have been 40 units that have been flipped, with an average increase from $101,000 to $131,000. So they're below the citywide average, but there's a positive trajectory, and that's good news for Universal City and for this area in particular, and for the plans that we have. What we also learned is that the average home size in Universal City is about 2,100 square feet. However, homes in the study area are about 500 to 700 square feet below that citywide average. So that means a couple of things. One is that we have underutilized lots. So because these were built a long time ago, they're actually smaller lots, but even on those smaller lots, they're underutilized. And so they have not, for those of you who are familiar with zoning and development, the lot coverage ratio is below what it can be. And so about 15 to 17.5% below the citywide average, which is 21%. So what that means for redevelopment is that when someone comes in and tears down a home and builds a new one, they can maximize that lot, put in a bigger footprint home, which will obviously increase the property value, not only for that property, but for the surrounding area. So that's what we're going to be looking to do and talk about with any developers that come in and build either an entire block or just single family or one individual lot. And then on the multifamily side, Universal City has an average rent that is about $927, which is slightly below the US and San Antonio average. I believe the last apartment complex that we had developed in town, not in this area, was in 2006. In this area specifically, the apartment buildings are much older. I think they were built in the 60s and 70s. Only one of those apartment complexes has been recently renovated. So we would like to see the other ones renovate, and if there's a potential with some lot consolidation to provide some additional multifamily housing, we're open to any developers that are looking to do that, because we'd like to provide new housing for that market that provides all the amenities that people are looking for today. From a retail side, retail sales have increased over the last 10 years. However, we're still slightly below our neighbors. So we'd like to see that increase. All right, so after they conducted their initial feasibility studies, AECOM spoke to us about what the goals are. And so I'll just let you look at this real quickly, and then I'll jump to the actual plan, the master plan that they generated based on the studies and input from staff. And so this is a 10 to 15 year plan. Obviously the market will dictate, so ups and downs in the economy will determine whether or not we're able to meet this goal of 10 to 15 years. But it does establish the framework for what we're looking to see in this particular area of town. And I'll jump right to the plan itself. And so this is a good visualization. So, what we're looking to do is establish provide a vibrant public realm, a town center, a public square, a mix of uses, life at night, which is not nightlife, it's life at night, and I'll explain that in a minute. Walkability, entertainment areas, small gathering spaces, parks and parklets. Create gateways. And so, stemming back to what the stakeholders, their feedback, what they provided to us, was that, one, there's that lack of a gathering space in this part of town. And so if you look at number 5, and I can point to it, which is right there. Again, this is FM 78, this is Pat Booker. Right there is where Bill Miller's is right now. So across from Bill Miller's is a Mexican restaurant there. And so, again, this is market driven. We're not telling anyone that they have to sell their property or do what the plan says. This is just a framework for the time, for when it comes that people want to either sell their properties or work with an investor to redevelop that area. So this area here could be the gathering space. And that would provide, again, a place for people to commune, but also we could have venues there for entertainment, and a mix of different types of eateries and shops. In addition to that, the gateways would help establish, getting back to what the stakeholders mentioned to us, is that the gateways will help people know that when they're coming into this part of town, hey, you're in a unique part of town, you're in the Aviation district of Universal City. This is pretty cool. Another way to help people understand that they're in a unique part of town is streetscaping. And And so the city can play a part in that, obviously. And that's one of the investments that we can make to let people know, to let developers, to let investors know that we are invested in redeveloping this area. And streetscaping involves obviously putting in medians, landscape medians, decorative light poles with banners. Also, as the commercial area redevelops, moving those new buildings closer to the street to create that street wall, which is essential because it creates that perspective and that environment for people. It slows traffic down, gets people to look around, and then also increase the sizes of the sidewalks, which will allow for not only people to stroll by, but also not impede or have to run into or navigate around any outdoor dining. So those are a few things that the city can do. One of the things that we are struggling with is, will this be a redevelopment or a revitalization? So redevelopment will be tear down or start over versus repurposing and upgrade. We see it as a combination. It's going to be a mix, obviously. Again, a market-driven redevelopment, revitalization will have both. Hopefully, as we've seen in the residential side, we have seen a lot of renovation, but we've also seen the tear downs and the redevelopments of single-family homes in that area. Speaking of single-family homes, and that's numbers 12, 11, number 10, which I'll get to in a minute, we're looking at high-density single-family residential. And so the plan does describe and calls for 2 different types of single-family residential. Again, we want to maximize those lots which would increase the property values. We're also looking at row homes or town homes on several lots, which would, again, create that street wall effect. So those homes, you may be familiar with row homes. They were popular back in the turn of the last century on the East Coast. They are 4 to 6 units that they share walls, but they're closer to the street and they have rear loading for parking. And so again, that creates that walkable environment that we're looking for, the pedestrian-friendly environment. Interconnectivity, that's very important. So as we redevelop this area, we want to make sure that there's a symbiotic relationship between the pedestrian, bicyclists, and automobiles, as well as between businesses, residential, and parks. And so all of those things need to play into each other to create that pedestrian-friendly, walkable, new urbanistic environment that we're trying to create here. And so part of that I mentioned before is daytime vibrancy. We'd like to bring more activity into our downtown, the Aviation District during lunchtime. And so a better variety of restaurants, choices would help facilitate that. And then life at night. I mentioned that it's different than nightlife. Life at night is after 5 o'clock, a place to go where you can drop off the kids at the dance studio and then linger, maybe go to a bar, grab a beer or a wine shop, or just stroll around the downtown, that environment. And then also on the weekends we're looking to create that environment where people will see this as a destination as opposed to just another stop as they're doing their chores. So I'll keep this up there because I think it's nice to look at. Gives you a nice idea of what we can do. And I'll just point out a couple more things. One is this area here, number 10. This is a mixed-use development. And so by that we mean to have commercial services or retail on the first floor with residential above. Could be 3 to 4 or 5 stories. We're really open to an increase in height, an increase in density in that area. And then across from the town square, this area right here, number 3, is a boutique hotel. So, not sure whether the market will call for that, but it is certainly something that AECOM has indicated is a possibility. We wanted to include that in this master plan. So what are the tools in our toolkit? Well, obviously, in order to make this happen, we need to have a good infrastructure. So water, sewer, and roadways are important. And if you've driven or tried to drive down East Aviation in the last 6 months, you can see that the city has already undertaken making those improvements. We also plan on moving to the other side of Pat Booker Road on Aviation in the near future. So the city has already invested in making the upgrades necessary to allow for this redevelopment, for this master plan to come to fruition. Again, I mentioned streetscaping. That's something that the city can do. That's something in our toolbox. We can make that investment to show people that we are dedicated to making this happen. And then one of the things that AECOM recommended is a multimodal plan. So the city will likely in the near future engage another consultant to generate a multimodal plan, and that will incorporate walking, biking, riding, again, that symbiotic relationship. And they'll study streets, sidewalks, pedestrian paths, bicycle lanes, one-way streets, and community parking lots. And so as we reassess and assess, the path moving forward, some of these things may fall off or fall to the wayside, but we know that they will all play together. There might be some interim uses as well as long-term goals that will incorporate some of those elements. So what can we provide investors and developers in order to encourage them to take a look at redeveloping or revitalizing this downtown area? Well, the city has recently, after this plan was presented to City Council and unofficially approved, because we did not adopt a formal change to our zoning code, this is again a framework, a guideline for the master plan of this area. Well, what we've done recently is just last month we adopted an upgrade or a revision to our PUD ordinance, our Planned Unit Development Ordinance. And any developer will tell you that they want to know what it's going to cost them, what they have to do, and how long it's going to take for them to get the necessary entitlements or approvals. And so this PUD plan definitely provides them that roadmap that they're looking for. One of the other things that in town we have is an outdated sign ordinance. And so one of the things that we have to think about from a staff level is, do we upgrade or update our sign ordinance at a comprehensive level, or do we focus on a sign plan just for the Aviation District area? We haven't decided that yet, but that's one of the things that we can do that will again help developments and help identify that particular area of town. And then the city can also create a list and prioritize properties to purchase. So if we have the ability to control properties, we have the ability to control the downtown's destiny. The city is looking at that. One of the things that's very interesting that this study revealed is that in the Aviation District, again, there are 130 parcels in the study area. There are 22 that are vacant. And so that's about 17%. That's a lot. And when you drive around there, you'll notice that there's a lot of vacant and then there's some dilapidated properties. And so the city has been making an effort over the last 5 to 10 years to clean up that area of town. We've been successful. There's still a ways to go. But one of the things that we can do is, if we are able to control those vacant lots, then we can encourage the development that we'd like to see that will help move this forward at a quicker pace. Some of the other things that we can do to attract investment and incentivize the investment that we're looking for is to be open to a TIRZ, or a tax increment reinvestment zone, or a TIF district, a tax increment finance zone, as well as tax rebates. We don't have any of that on the books, but we're certainly open and willing to look at those. We're willing to explore those options in order to facilitate redevelopment of this area. And then how are we going to pay for it all? Well, some other funding mechanisms. Obviously, there's impact fees, and we know that developers hate impact fees, but impact fees are necessary to an extent. So one of the things that we can do at a city staff level is we can review the impact fees that are on the books and try to find that balance that will help encourage the redevelopment and not disincentivize redevelopment or impede that from happening. Because we want to entertain developments in this area. We don't want things at the outset to basically turn them away. We can also sell land at a reduced value. Again, if we're able to acquire some of the properties in that area of town, that's one of the things that we can incentivize development with, to a developer and investor, is to give them a good deal on that property. And then our Economic Development Corporation has been very active over the last 10 to 15 years and in redeveloping or revitalizing, doing a storefront improvement program throughout not just this area of town, but other areas of town as well. And we see the Economic Development Corporation, or the EDC, as being a critical component in moving forward with this redevelopment. They play that active role, and we think they will continue to do so. And the last thing that we'd like to do is we'd like to establish a quiet zone. I don't know if any of you are aware or have actually stopped and listened, but there are a lot of trains that go by and blare their horns. So if we're looking to increase rooftops, we want to increase the density in this area. I know that I'm going to be getting those phone calls. Can you make the train stop blaring its horn every half hour? So we think that we'll be able to work with the railroad. The city has been successful in the past in working with them to prevent them from idling in town. And so we do have that relationship, and hopefully we can continue to achieve a quiet zone in this area. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Yes, ma'am.
So, the very first thing I thought when I saw this was how close it is in proximity to Randolph. What did JBSA have to say in regards to RAC mitigation and realignment potentially of Randolph putting this many rooftops or this much density that close to the base?
Yeah, so the city, we're aware of the clear zone. This area is not in the clear zone, and it's not in either the ACU's 1 or 2 areas. So essentially, we wanted to include them because they are a stakeholder. They're going to have those concerns, and we want to make sure that we understand what they're looking for because they also understand that this is not a clear zone area, and so that redevelopment is going to occur. So we brought them into the fold in order to have that positive relationship up front. Anyone else? Any investors, developers? Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael, we appreciate it. Anybody else think that he could have a backup career in like voiceovers or something? Just the really smooth voices that you hear on the commercials and stuff. So thank you again for that presentation, Universal City. We appreciate your city partnership. This is such exciting stuff that it brought out Cheryl Maxwell. So really, really exciting to get her out here. But we appreciate that and look forward to the growth in that area. And with that, we still have some open spots for the calendar for mixers and luncheons. The mixers are filling up kind of quick. But let us know if you're interested in sponsoring a luncheon or if you're interested in hosting a mixer, and also any of our events that you would like to sponsor. Up next Tuesday, I cannot believe it's a week from today, is Mardi Gras. We still have tickets available if you are interested in it. We just got in 2 new gold sponsors this week, City of Live Oak, and the City of Selma. So we appreciate your support and we look forward to hanging out with you guys. It's a fun way to network together and also enjoy some really good food out at Blue Bonnet Palace. So hopefully we will see you all there. And then the February mixer is going to be February 25th at the new Lone Star Lounge in Cibolo. It's right at 1103 and 78. And I am bringing down, that was Joel Hicks with Cibolo in case you didn't know. I am bringing in my friend, Mikhail Buck, former contestant on The Voice, and he lives in North Carolina. He's going to be doing an acoustic show for us out there. Get out there and see the new Lone Star. It's really pretty in there. They also have a little area that can be a meeting space that Richie is willing to let people come in and have meetings, so be sure to come out and check us out. March Luncheon is going to be sponsored by Hanson, but it is also going to be for RACAP. As you guys know, a lot of the nonprofits are suffering right now, so every year Hanson does this food drive for RACAP. They weren't able to do it last year, but we're going to make it happen this year, so we appreciate if you guys would bring out some cans of food. They're specifically needing some laundry detergent, liquid dish soap, jelly, box meat helpers, but also any canned good items. So we'll be having a food drive here to kick off the food drive that Hanson is having for them. So be sure to bring us some stuff to fill their pantries. And that'll be March 9th here at the Hilton Inn. That's just a little bit more information about the state of medicine that we have going on. If anybody has any, if there's a topic you want to hear about, we want to know. We want to know if there's any topics so that we can make sure that the panelists discuss that. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think a lot of us have a lot of questions. So be sure you can email or text or call any topic that you might want to hear about that. I'm excited about this, y'all know I am, right? So our March mixer is gonna be held at the Rebecca Creek Distillery. They're gonna let us come in and do some tastings and probably have some live music. Not sure if you're aware, they make vodka and then 2 different types of whiskey, but then they also have Rebecca Creek Radio, so I don't know what it's gonna look like, but it's gonna be fun. So put that on your calendar for March 25th at the Rebecca Creek Distillery. Next, I just want to say again, thank you, Kate, for just jumping in. All of my city partners, which is Universal City, Live Oak, Selma, and Silvas Group. Give them a hand, guys. These cities are working hard for us right now. And then, of course, our hero sponsors, which is the Kindling 1908. So the first thing I'm going to go in, Kate, you want to draw? I don't like to be responsible. How much time do we have?
First prize is a floral arrangement
Donated by the Silvas Group.
donated by the Silvas Group.
Hey guys, Valentine's is right around the corner, so if you can make these live and you win this, keep them alive, there you go. Valentine's Day for your wife.
Missy Carpenter.
Or Missy. She's a winner. Our very own Missy Carpenter. She has joined our diplomat team. You're going to see her beautiful, happy face everywhere.
And the second item is some chocolates for.
Which I can't afford to eat because Robert Westbrook brought me 2 giant cookies to the mixer the other day. I call him Cookie Monster, guys. If you don't follow him on Instagram and you want to know about where you can get good cookies or good food, follow him on Instagram. Kim Turner with Universal City.
Thank you all for coming today, and thank you for the honor of being part of this.
We appreciate it. We're going to give away 2 tickets to Mardi Gras individually. And from Missy Carpenter, we have a gift certificate here that we're going to give away too. I'll do Missy's first. This is from Missy Carpenter. Gift certificate. Donna Louder. We appreciate it. The next one is going to be a ticket to Mardi Gras. Who wants to go to Mardi Gras? Oh, we'll go to Mardi Gras. He was going to go anyways. And the next winner is going to be Edward Finley with SCUCISC. So I just want to see if there are any guests, first-time attendees, or if there's somebody who would like to stand up that hasn't been here in a while. Raise your hand if you have something to say, you want to introduce yourself. Please stand. You can come up here if you want the mic, or you can stand there.
I can just tell y'all, I'm Sandra Bogart from Converse, and this was awesome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me come.
Thank you for joining us. some extra love. She is Mr. and Mrs. Maxwell's granddaughter. Anybody else like to stand up, say a few words, introduce yourself? Don't be shy. That's it. Well, we appreciate the guests. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself, found this very useful. Everybody else, I appreciate you all coming out. I know the situation is a little bit hard, so we're seeing some smaller crowds, but I definitely appreciate your support, continued support. Have a lovely